the fight card. We have the main event, John Lineker, Troy Worthen. There's a lot of really good fights, but we are doing the full card prediction. We have one championship, one on TNT, 3 Lineker versus Worthen. 4 fights on the fight card. We have John Lineker and Troy Worthen, which is actually a short notice fight. Troy Worthen was supposed to be fighting Tsuya Kamikubo on this fight card, but now John Lineker stepping in on short notice in 10 pounds above his natural weight class in the featherweight division. He's usually a bantamweight fighter, but now we have the main event, John Lineker and Troy Worthen. We have Rhys Mcglauren and Yuya Wakamatsu, if I'm saying the name correctly, in the co-main event. We have Murat Kafarov, an absolutely amazing grappler. The man has so many rear naked choke submissions, or rear naked, over and over and over again. He's an amazing grappler in this one championship roster against Ryan Ok. We have Lee Tiao Miao and Ryuto Sawada. That is a rematch. The last time they fought, which I believe was back in 2020. Ryuta Sawada won the fight by unanimous decision. A lot of really good fights right here. But the main event is really awesome between John Lineker and Troy Worthen. I'm considering John Lineker has so many amazing fights inside the UFC, going 12-4 with his only losses inside the UFC to Ali Bagontinov, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, and Luis Cadena. 12 wins and 4 losses, beating Rob Font, Marlon Vera, Brian Keller, all these really good fighters inside the UFC. But now he's fighting in his third fight inside of one championship on TNT 3 in the main event against Troy Worthen. Should be a really good main event right there. But we are doing a full card prediction, so we're going to get started with the first fight on the fight card. Ryuto Sawada and Lee Tiao Miao, which is a rematch. The last time they fought, which was, I believe, like 4 or 5 months ago. Back in, I believe, October or November of 2020, Lee Tiao Miao lost the fight by unanimous decision. If you look at Ryuto Sawada, an absolute beast wherever the fight goes. 8 submission wins and 3 knockout wins. He has very good striking, and when he wants to, takes you down and gets your back and submits you by rear naked submission, or gets that armbar submission. Very good grappling right there. The 72nd best flyweight fighter in the world. Only 25 years old, 5'1" inch tall, so a very small flyweight fighter right here. But he is a very young fighter, a very athletic fighter with really good grappling. Taking on Lee Tiao Miao, 5 wins and 3 losses. He has very good striking, 4 knockout wins and 1 decision win. So it is definitely a striker versus grappler fight right here. But they have fought before. The last time they fought, Lee Tiao Miao obviously had the striking advantage, but just could not do much with it because Ryuto Sawada went out there and went for takedown after takedown over and over again. Got Lee Tiao Miao down like 4 or 5 times in the fight and dominated him on the ground. Almost got the submission. Lee Tiao Miao is the only person that Ryuto Sawada has not been able to submit inside of one championship, but this time, I think it's very likely we see a submission from Ryuto Sawada, or we see a knockout in the first round for Lee Tiao Miao, because he has really good striking, with 80% of his wins coming by KO TKO in the first or second round. So, in my opinion, it's either a knockout from Lee Tiao Miao, or a decision win, or a submission win in the first round from Ryuto Sawada in the fight. The last time, Lee Tiao Miao defended the submissions and lost the fight by unanimous decision. But this time, in the first fight on TNT 3, I am going Ryuto Sawada to get the fight to the ground, get Lee Tiao Miao's back, and get that rear naked choke submission in the first or second round. That is my prediction for the first fight on the fight card. I have Ryuto Sawada winning the fight by submission in the first or second round. After that, this one is definitely going to be a submission. Murat Gafarov, he is 36 years old, 5'9" inches tall, so a little bit older of a fighter than Ryan Ok, who's only 29 years old. But Murat Gafarov, man, if you guys watch any of this man's fights, a former featherweight champion, beating guys like Martin Eugen, beating Narantu Galag Jadamamba, I'm sorry if I'm saying the name correctly. But look right here, first round we're naked, fourth round we're naked, second round we're naked, first round we're naked. That is literally 6 rear naked choke submission wins in a row, and 4 of the fights right here. This one for the interim featherweight belt, and these 3 fights right here for the actual one championship featherweight belt. The man's an absolute beast. After those fights, he was 15-0 as a professional MMA fighter in the featherweight division, but lost a fight to Martin Eugen by second round knockout, came back with a first round submission, lost 1 fight by first round knockout, got a decision win and another decision win, and lost 1 fight by first round submission. But if you can't already tell, Gafarov, amazing grappling, goes out there and he tries to get your back. I mean, those 6 submissions in a row, all by rear naked choke submission. Has 12 submission wins on his record and 5 decision wins. The man's grappling just speaks for himself when he goes out there in every single one of his fights. But he is facing a very, very good striker in Rhys Mcglauren, 13 wins and 3 losses, 4 knockout wins and 8 decision wins and only 1 submission win. If you look at how he's lost his fights, 0 losses coming by submission, but most of the guys coming against Gafarov have never been submitted until they fight Gafarov. The man's grappling is absolutely amazing. He goes out there, gets your back so easily, and even though Rhys Mcglauren is a very, very good striker with some pretty good power and very, very good kickboxing, Gafarov, you don't know until you face him. Once you're out there, you're like, alright, I defended the takedown one time. That is just the beginning, guys. Gafarov is so relentless with how many takedown after takedown after takedown over and over and over again. He's just going to keep on coming at you, go for takedown after takedown after takedown, and once he gets you down, he's going to submit you or he's going to dominate you there and win the fight by decision. So, in the second fight, on the prelims of 1 on TNT 3, I am going with an amazing, amazing grappler in Gafarov to win the fight by submission in the very, very first round. I think it's going to be really, really hard for a guy like Rhys Mcglauren to defend these submissions against a guy who's he's just so good. 12 submission wins on his record, had 1 point in his career with 6 wins in a row, all by rear and naked choke submission. The man is national beast. I have him winning the fight by first round submission. We're not going to look at this Muay Thai fight right here, and we're going to go on to the co-main event, Yuya Wakamatsu and Rhys Mcglauren. This fight is a bantamweight fight, striker and grappler. That is all I have to say right here. Rhys Mcglauren, 100% going to be the grappler in the fight. You look right here, 8 submission wins, 3 knockout wins, and 3 decision wins. A very, very good grappling on his record. Joined 1 championship back in 2015, got a 3rd round submission and a decision win. Lost 2 fights in a row, my first knockout and unanimous decision. Came back with 3 wins in a row, 2 by submission and 1 by decision. Then had a little bit of an up and down streak right there, 2 decision losses and then 2 finishes in the very first round. Very, very good striking, very good kickboxing, and very, very good submission skills. But you look at a guy like Yuya Wakamatsu, and you look at how he goes out there every single time, and he's so powerful, man. First knockout win in less than 2 minutes. First knockout win in less than 2 minutes. And decision win. I fought Demetrius Johnson, Danny King I fought Senzo Ikeda. Got a second knockout win right here. Main event fights inside of Pancrase. I fought Demetrius Johnson. I mean, one of the best fighters to ever live, pound for pound. Before that, second knockout, first knockout. Decision win, first knockout, third round knockout, first knockout, and first knockout. The man was finishing most of his fights by knockout. 11 knockout wins and 2 decision wins. Out of his losses, 2 losses coming by submission, 1 loss by knockout, and 1 loss by decision. I think in this fight, Rhys Mcglauren is going to go out there and win the fight by submission in the first or second round, or Yuya Wakamatsu is going to go out there and win the fight by first or second round knockout. It just depends on if Yuya Wakamatsu can defend the takedowns, because if he can, he will win the fight by knockout in the first or second round, or dominate the fight on the feet and win the fight by unanimous decision. But if the fight goes to the ground and Rhys Mcglauren can successfully get the takedown, he will win the fight by submission in the first or second round, or dominate the fight on the ground and win the fight by unanimous decision. But Yuya Wakamatsu has very, very good takedown defense. Doesn't really have the best submission defense, which is definitely a downside facing a guy like Rhys Mcglauren, who has very, very good submission skills. But I do think that Yuya Wakamatsu is going to go out there, defend most of these takedowns, keep the fight on the feet for the most part, and obviously he's going to have that striking advantage. So I think he's going to go out there in a very, very back and forth fight in the grappling, in the striking. They're completely opposite fighters. Rhys Mcglauren trying to get the submission, and Yuya Wakamatsu trying to get the knockout. But I do think that Yuya Wakamatsu is going to go out there in the second round and finish the fight via TKO. Amazing power, amazing ground and pound, and I think that is the perfect combination of skills from Yuya Wakamatsu and the takedown defense to go out there and win the fight by finishing the first or second round. So far, if you forgot any of my predictions, I have Yuya Wakamatsu winning his fight on my second round TKO. I have Gafarov winning his fight by first round submission or winning the fight in a dominant decision. And I have Ryota Sawada also winning his fight by first round submission or winning the fight in a dominant decision. And now, guys, we go on to the main event. John Lineker and Troy Worthen in a featherweight fight, a 3-round main event right here. You look at a guy like John Lineker, you might be thinking, I've kind of heard of him a little bit inside the UFC, did amazing things inside of the UFC, And guys, he's literally only about 31 years old, still in the prime of his MMA career. The smaller fighter, a lot less of a reach than Troy Worthen, considering he is moving up a division from the bantamweight division to the featherweight division. He's a natural bantamweight fighter, but he is fighting Troy Worthen in the main event right here. The main striking, amazing. You look at his fights inside the UFC, fighting TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen. This is the thing I really want to look at with Corey Sandhagen, a super close fight. It was a 29-28 decision win for Corey Sandhagen. But if you're going that close with a guy like Corey Sandhagen, the number 2 bantamweight fighter in the world, fighting TJ Dillashaw, beating Marlon Vera, beating Brian Kelleher, both of those fights being dominations, beating John Dodson, beating Rob Font, beating Ian McCall. I mean, the main striking is just absolutely amazing. 33 wins and 9 losses. You look down here, I mean, the man's a beast. 15 wins by KO TKO, 13 wins by decision, and 4 wins by submission. Most of his wins are coming by finish. But in this fight right here, I think there's such a humongous possibility John Lineker goes out there and finishes the fight by KO TKO in the first or second round. Troy Worthen, he doesn't really have that finishing power in his hands. 3 knockout wins, so 1 submission win, and 3 decision wins. He's going to have that size advantage, but either way, John Lineker, a legend of the bantamweight division inside of the UFC, I think he's going to go out there and make this look like an absolute domination in the striking game. The striking is just so good. I think he's going to go out there and clip Troy Worthen in the second round and knock him down, finish him out with some ground and pound shots, and I think that John Lineker is going to get his 3rd win in a row inside of one championship and get a second round TKO win in the main event, a 1 on TNT 3, Lineker versus Worthen. So, if you guys forgot any of my predictions for 1 on TNT 3 in the main event, I have John Lineker winning his fight in the main event by first or second round TKO. I have Yuya Wakamatsu winning his fight against Rhys Mcglauren by first round knockout or winning the fight by unanimous decision. I have Mariah Gafar winning the fight by first round submission. I have Ryota Sawada winning his fight by first round submission or winning the fight by unanimous decision. A lot of really good fights on 1 on TNT 3, guys. Remember, it is absolutely free to watch this fight right here in the main event. Just download the One Championship app, and it is going to happen on 10 p.m. next Wednesday. I cannot wait for this fight to happen because John Lineker, I've been watching him ever since, I believe the first fight that I did watch of him was back in, I believe, 2015 with Francisco Rivera, but ever since then, I've definitely been a huge fan of John Lineker. He has really good striking, very good submission skills, and very good wrestling. Doesn't really need to use those wrestling or submission skills because he has so much power and really good striking. So, I can't wait to see this fight in the main event of 1 on TNT 3, but those are my full card predictions. If you guys have any questions for the fight card, put that in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications, because I post videos for One Championship. Every single one of these fights that are happening inside of One Championship, I will be doing predictions for them every single week, every single Wednesday. So, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and that is my full card prediction. Any questions, put that in the comment section